You're listening to This Is My Side Hustle. The tips, tools, and advice you need to optimize your life live here. If you're looking to unlock the secrets to additional income by engineering your choices around your ideal lifestyle, you're in the right place. Stay tuned and join us as we unpack unconventional ideas and methods to give you more freedom and flexibility. Let's escape the rat race together and live with intention. Let's learn how others are making it pay with their side hustles. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of This Is My Side Hustle. Today I'm going to be talking about how to start freelancing if you're sick and tired of having a commute or a boss or whatever your reasons may be. There's probably a reason why you want to work from home and you're not alone. So I'm just going to dive right in and kind of talk about the whole culture around millennials, freelancing, working from home. Why is it so popular? What are the benefits? And of course, if you really want to start freelancing, whether it's as a virtual assistant or a social media marketer or a blogger or pretty much anything else, you really ought to take a look at my course, the Making It Pay Lifestyle course, which you can find by going to makingitpay.teachable.com. I've opened it up for everyone for just $47. There's 20 modules that'll take you step by step to starting a profitable online business from scratch. So you can take it at your own pace. There's videos, there's links, there's tutorials, and I even included all of my live coaching calls when I opened this course for $497 about 18 months ago. And everything is still going to be relevant. It's going to help you get on your way to starting your own business where you can work from anywhere. And who doesn't want that, right? So we've all heard the endless rants about the lazy millennial and their poor work ethic. And a 2018 study by Mercer revealed that a third of all employees actually sought to resign from their jobs in 12 months. Another survey by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which backed Mercer's research, also revealed a rise in employees quitting their jobs since 2010. So in 2010, there were 22 million people who quit their job. By 2018, it rose to 40 million. So what's going on? Does the millennials search for less stressful and more productive work environments with questions on how to start freelancing equate to laziness? And do massive resignations across the board imply that the modern generation simply loathes working? No, far from it. And here's why. 92% of employees stated that they would stick to their current jobs if their bosses were more empathetic. That's not all. As of 2018, 43% of millennials desired to resign from their jobs within 2 years to work in the gig economy. And it gets more interesting. According to Gallup research, 37% of employees would quit their current jobs if they got an opportunity to work remotely. So, those are some heavy stats, and they point out one thing. If you've been thinking about freelancing, you're not alone. A lot of employees, just like you, are sick of having bosses, sick of the commute, and want out. And there's a fairly simple way to do that. It's called freelancing. So let's talk about some of the benefits of freelancing. The first is it's estimated that 43% of the U.S. workforce will be freelancers by 2020. So that's almost half of all people in the U.S. workforce will be freelancers. And I don't know if you've noticed, and if you're working currently at a job you might not have, but I've been working from home now for quite a long time. My own business for over 4 years now. I started blogging a year or two before I opened my business, and I even worked remotely part-time when I had an actual job. So I would go in the office some of the days, and then the other days I worked from home. So it's been about, 12 years since I've had experience working from home. And I have noticed recently, especially in the last year or two, that there's a lot more people out during the day when I go and run errands. And, I used to think, don't these people have a job? And now I realize, well, they're probably just like me. They're probably freelancers. They're probably working remotely. I mean, now with today's technology, today's opportunities, it makes sense that almost half of the workforce will be freelancers or at least work remotely by next year. Another statistic for you is that freelancers in the U.S. collectively contribute $1.4 trillion to the economy every year. That's a lot of money. That's a huge amount of our economy. Freelance coders and software developers can earn up to $1,000 per hour. And you might be thinking, well, who would pay $1,000 per hour for a coder or a software developer? Well, not employers. They're not paying that. But freelancers, if they set a rate that they can do jobs for $1,000, and people think, okay, well, I need my website coded, and that coder or software developer can do it in an hour, well, they just earned $1,000 an hour if $1,000 is their price. So most people don't care how long something takes. They care what they're getting for the price they're paying. So if you are really good at your job, you're actually suffering if you work for an employer when you become more productive and more efficient, because you're not getting paid what you probably could if you were a freelancer. Here's another statistic for you. Artificial intelligence, Instagram marketing, machine learning, and brand strategy were the most demanded skills of 2017. And I can see that pretty much being the same here 2 years later. I would lump Instagram marketing into social media marketing and analytics and ads. There's a lot more of that going on that's important, but those were very highly sought after skills of freelancers 2 years ago. And it's been proven by, I believe it's Harvard Business School, that working from home improves work performance by 13%. So it just makes sense that employers would get on the bandwagon and let their employees work from home more often. But if that's not the case, the best thing to do is to start freelancing. So for someone wishing to be your own boss, it's natural to wonder how you'll go about becoming a freelancer after hearing some of those statistics. But choosing to freelance could be detrimental without you knowing how to do it right. A lot of people just jump in. They really don't know what they're doing. They think, oh, if I'm an Instagram marketer, I'm going to be able to pay my bills. But they don't know the least thing about marketing on Instagram. They have no background in marketing. They don't know how to do it, how to research hashtags, how to do stories, how to tag people, how to have collaboration with other brands, how to reach out, how to cold call people, how to cold email people for partnerships. It just doesn't work that way. So you really have to set the foundation before you just jump into something willy-nilly and you don't know how to do it. So I want to talk a little bit about how to start freelancing the best way possible. But before we get on into the how-to, I want you to see what you need to have in place first. So obviously the course, the Making It Pay Lifestyle course, will go into this much more in depth. There's hours and hours worth of material. It's well worth your time to take that course. It will probably take you 6 to 8 weeks to totally get through if you're just spending maybe a half an hour to an hour on it a day. And you'll learn a lot more than this, but I don't have that much time in this podcast to do that. So this is going to be more of a summary of some of the things you need to know. So a study conducted by Upwork and the Freelancers Union, who I've guest blogged for, by the way, revealed that since 2014, the number of American freelancers has increased by 3.7 million, And about 73% of millennials are now going straight into freelancing. There's a tremendous increase in the number of people opting for freelancer jobs every year. That's because a lot of people are beginning to choose lifestyle over finances, which is completely what the Making It Pay lifestyle course is all about. And companies are aligning to the demands of the global economy for a shift from traditional workplace models. But as desirable as freelancing may look, not everyone who attempts to be a freelancer succeeds. Majorly because there's a lot of challenges that new freelancers face, which kind of throws them off balance and then they give up. For instance, in terms of earning, a new freelancer may expect that he will make a stable income in their first month without knowing that 56% of freelancers say that uncertainty of income is the biggest challenge that they face. So 56% say the uncertainty of income is the biggest challenge. Still, 4 years after opening my own business, I would agree with that. You know, you never know when a client's going to say, hey, we can't afford marketing anymore. Or I'm going to pass this on to somebody else I found who can do it for $10 an hour. And I say, well, okay. And then I have to go find another client. And there are, sometimes periods of a few weeks where I have a gap in income, which is really important for you to have an emergency fund, especially if you're going to be a freelancer. In fact, I highly suggest you have 6 to 12 months of your living expenses saved up before you make the jump into being a freelancer, because there is the uncertainty of income at the beginning, especially, and it really doesn't go away. You're in charge of finding your own clients. You're in charge of putting yourself out there and doing the work. It's not a free pass. The next problems that freelancers complain about is that family and friends thinking that you do not have a real job or are not busy, which I did find that out at the beginning, and I really had to lay some boundaries down with family and friends who thought, well, I work from home, I must just be able to do anything I want whenever I want. That's not the case. I'm very disciplined. I have a very set schedule. I work when I need to work. I do try to have margin and things like that in my life, especially because I have kids, in case things come up. But I am not, just sitting around watching TV all day or doing nothing and am able to jump up at the drop of the hat. I have responsibilities, and even more so probably than if I was an employee, because my clients are my direct lifeblood. So it's important to stress that you do actually have a job, you are actually working. People cannot just expect you to drop things and, point out that you are doing something productive during those times. The next part is difficulty getting new clients. 10% of freelancers said it's difficult to get new clients. I would say this is yes and no. When you first start out, yeah, it is, because you probably don't have a lot of testimonials. You probably don't have people referring you. You don't have a big portfolio. As you get a year or two under your belt, it gets a lot easier, but you still need to hustle. Some of the places I belong to is the International Virtual Assistants Association, which I will post a link to in the show notes. And what's great about that organization is that you get requests for proposals directly to your inbox for people who are looking for pretty high-end type virtual assistants or social media marketers or graphic designers. You can also join many different Facebook groups. If you just search for whatever freelancing niche you are thinking about getting into, job board or job opportunities or something like that, you can find Facebook groups like that. And that definitely helps in finding people who want to work with you. Now, 9% of freelancers complained that the constant hustling to get work was their biggest issue. That is true. Like I said, you will be constantly hustling unless you really make an effort to have some long-term clients that you know are going to be a long-term thing. They've got the money, they've got the background, they're used to working with other freelancers, but nothing's guaranteed. I mean, like I said, sometimes people just say, hey, we can't do this anymore, see ya. And the next thing you know, they either didn't pay you or you're trying to find somebody else. Finally, problems getting paid is 5%, and that definitely has been an issue. In the past with me, I had people who didn't pay me on time, and I decided it wasn't worth my effort to keep them on, so I just fired the client. They were usually pretty problematic to begin with, and I have had one long-term client who takes forever to pay me, but he always does eventually. He's out of town a lot. He really doesn't check his emails, so I know that he will, and he's never not paid, but sometimes he's been 2 or 3 months late, which is another reason why it's really good to have a big cushion so that your cash flow isn't affected. So take some of those things into consideration. It's not all sunshine and roses, but I'm going to go over some of the steps you need to take to kind of buffer some of the bad things and really focus on the pros. So if you're not fully prepared, you will get discouraged and possibly quit. You're definitely going to get discouraged. You're definitely going to have times when you're tearing your hair out, wondering if this person's going to pay you, where are the other clients coming from, if you're going to find any clients. But let's talk about some things that you should have in place besides what I already talked about before becoming a freelancer. So the first thing is to have a good transition plan. The report I talked about earlier, released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, also revealed that in October of 2018, 3.5 million people, or 2.3% of the total workforce in the United States, left their jobs voluntarily. And if you are about to be a part of that statistic by planning to quit your job and going into freelancing, then you need to craft your transition plans adequately before quitting your job. Becoming a freelancer needs a lot of planning, and you need to begin weeks to months before you make the move. It depends on, how prepared you are already and how long you've been thinking about it. For example, it's important to have enough financial resources to see you through the early stages. So 6 to 12 months, I say, is a minimum. At this stage, you need to do a lot of research on the market for your freelancing skills. So do a Google search to find the freelancing websites that are really popular, as well as research on how much startup freelancers in your desired niche will earn. This will brace you for the uncertainties ahead. And don't just fall for the first thing that you see that might say you're going to earn $10,000 your first month. Yes, it's possible, but probably not in your first month. Yes, it's definitely possible after a year or two if you're ready to put in the work and hustle. But remember, if you're doing that, you might be working more than you did when you were working for an employer. But as you get better and better, your hours will go down because your time spent on things will lessen. Freelancing is really competitive, and many freelancers will be pitching to the same client you're aiming for. So it's important that you develop your marketing and communication skills, as your success as a freelancer is heavily dependent on that, okay? You really need to know how to communicate with people, how to talk to people, how to put yourself out there, how to really pitch and nail it and hit it out of the park, be the best one there. You need to know the words to say and how to follow up with people if they don't respond. Now, while putting your transition plan into place, try to make valuable connections with people relevant to your freelance niche outside of your workplace. You need to establish relationships with people, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook groups or Instagram, because they might be your potential clients tomorrow and could be instrumental in referring you to other clients. I know personally, word of mouth is the best way I find new clients. And here's some candid advice. Try to avoid telling anyone, especially your colleagues, about your plan to quit until you are ready to leave, because it might jeopardize your current position. But be sure to let them know after you have resigned and started your freelancing career so that they can refer you to their friends who might be interested in your offer. Hey baby, you know what I find sexy? Cash back. That's right. And if you want a cash back credit card for your business, you've got to check out Chase 8. Go to makingitpaytostay.com/Inc. And if you spend $3,000 in your first 3 months, you'll get $500 cash back. There's a 0% interest APR on purchases for the first 12 months. You get unlimited 1.5 cashback rewards on every purchase made for your business. You can redeem it for cashback, gift cards, travel, and more through Trace Ultimate Rewards. The cashback rewards don't expire as long as your account is open, and best of all, there's no annual fee. So if you're thinking about starting your own business or becoming a freelancer, go to makingitpaytostay.com/Inc. INK. Because there's nothing sexier than cashback or being your own boss. Okay, the next thing you need to do is to know your niche or niche, however you want to pronounce it. Identify what makes you worth hiring. There are lots of freelancing opportunities available, but you need to discover which niche you will function well in. Don't just pick a niche solely because the pay is plenty. Your niche should be determined by where you can add the most value. To identify this, you'll need to do a lot of self-reflection, be honest with yourself, ask other people, and conduct a freelance market research. So make a list of the things you can do already. The list shouldn't be limited to skills that apply to freelancing alone. This will enable you to know how to diversify your abilities and to know how well you'll fit into diverse freelancing services. So you can ask your colleagues and friends and family members to help you identify your strengths and skills. If you're on LinkedIn, take a look at what people have, recommended you for or verified you for. I can't remember what it's called at the moment, but definitely take a look at that and ask people really close to you who you know they'll be honest with you and won't worry about hurting your feelings, what skills you might have, what weaknesses you might have, and what certain skills you might have overlooked. Write them all down and ensure that the skills you have are relevant and marketable in the niche that you want to work in. You can go the extra mile by checking job openings in your niche to discover what skills clients are looking for. This will help you focus on those areas and develop them, as well as branch out. The next thing you want to do is build a portfolio and create a web presence. So many freelancers always make the mistake of not having a good portfolio or examples of their work before jumping into freelancing. You need to build your portfolio while you're planning on how to get started freelancing, because it'll help tremendously with getting jobs. Building your portfolio entails building a body of work that will attract clients. When you pitch to clients, most of them will want to see a sample of the previous works you've done. The samples will help them to assess your skills, to know if you are a good fit for the job. But if you don't have a portfolio, the client will most likely award the job to another freelancer who has some measure of proof of their capabilities. An easy way to build your portfolio is to offer your services free of charge or at a low price to clients in the beginning. Your major focus at this point shouldn't be how much you can make. You can start doing this while you still have your job, so when you're ready to take on freelance jobs full time, you'll have some good samples that you can show to your clients. The quality of your portfolio plays a huge role in determining how much you will be paid. So ensure that your true worth is reflected in the quality of the samples you have in your portfolio. You'll also need to build your web presence. The web plays a key role in the freelancing industry, which is why most freelancers look for jobs online. According to a Payoneer research, 73% of freelancers are now turning to the web to find clients. So in order to succeed, you're going to need to build a web presence. I talk about this in depth in the Making It Pay Lifestyle course. I talk about how to set up a website, the website themes I recommend, the tutorials you can find on how to do that. So take a look at that for sure. It's not that difficult to throw up a website. If you're on the younger side of freelancing, if you're probably 40 years of age or younger, you're really not going to have a hard time with that. If you're older than that, you definitely want to watch more tutorials on how to set up a website, which I do have in the course. Now, if you don't have any marketable computer skills, you're going to need to get additional training because it's going to come in handy. This is probably why 33% of freelancers are interested in getting additional training to improve their computer skills. So you're going to need to create a website to be able to establish your online presence. You can build your web presence also through different social media platforms such as LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I go over those things, also how to set up your profiles, how you need to do it, what information you need to include in the Making It Pay Lifestyle course. But don't rely solely on social media to establish your web presence. Try to build and nurture your personal network, as this prevents you from getting lost in the crowd of millions of freelancers. Clients tend to give projects to freelancers who have been referred by trusted sources in their network. In fact, 33% of freelancers find clients through referrals. And I also want to say, when you're asking for referrals or you're asking for testimonials, give your clients a bonus or a reason for them to go out of their way and refer you. Now, a lot of my clients just do it because we have a great relationship and they know I can help someone that they know that needs help. But I do also offer a 10% discount on their next invoice if they refer me to other people while they're still my clients. So give them a reason to do that, and they'll definitely take the time and effort to do that. Now, you need to find out how you're going to get clients. You should know how and where to find clients specific to your chosen niche before venturing into freelancing full-time. In freelancing, you're going to go hunting for clients and jobs because they rarely just locate you, especially as a newbie. In fact, no matter how long you've been freelancing, you'll always be required to reach out to clients to get jobs. That's definitely true. I always need to do that now, even 4.5 years later. So finding clients can be fun and a bit frustrating at the same time. You need to have good marketing and entrepreneurial skills to get new clients, as well as understand that in freelancing, clients don't last forever. You might have a long-term client contract with a client, but that's as far as it goes. At some point, the client will leave and you will have to look for new prospects. This is why you need to know how to get and retain clients. You should have a website where you highlight your services and promote yourself across various social media platforms through word of mouth and through freelancer networks. An easy way to start is to search in online freelance marketplaces like Freelancer and Upwork, where clients advertise jobs. Get registered on these platforms and perfect how to write pitches. And you need to get ready to embrace change. Change is constant in freelancing. You need to be ready to think outside the box and embrace changes even when it's not convenient. You're also going to have to constantly work on improving your skills. Things change online constantly. You've got to be on top of things. You always need to research to discover new trends in your niche and equip yourself with a relevant skill per time. The consistent changes in the industry are behind these statistics. 7 in 10 full-time freelancers improved their skills in 6 months more than full-time employees did in the same time frame. So it's kind of a given that you're going to be constantly learning. If you don't like change, if you don't like to constantly learn, freelancing probably isn't for you. Because your skills might not always be in demand or could become obsolete. So if there appears to be no future in the skill you have, be ready to jump into something new. A great way to do this is to take training in a particular field that clients are starting to look for, which many freelancers aren't aware of yet, as this will increase the demand for your service. 66% of full-time freelancers constantly update their skills in order to stay marketable in a constantly evolving market. So stay abreast with change, and it will help you remain relevant in your niche. So here are some things you should know about freelancing. Having known what you need to have in place before becoming a freelancer, let's take a look at some things you need to know about actually doing it. So first-time freelancers usually have a lot of regrets in the early stages because they weren't aware of these specific things. Number one, freelancing is an effort-based economy. There's no guaranteed salary in freelancing. Your take-home pay at the end of every month is dependent on how much work you can put in and how many clients you have. In freelancing, time is a tangible currency, and you trade your skills and time for money. You need to know how to use your time effectively. You don't have the luxury to go on vacation or sick leave if you're a freelancer. You can schedule that in advance, but you can't just decide to call in sick one day when you have clients depending on something that has a deadline that day. Some days there might not be a lunch break. You might be eating as you're typing. Success in freelancing is based on how hard you work, especially at the beginning. Yes, it does get easier. Yes, you will spend less time eventually, but the first couple of years you really have to put the work in. Successful freelancing requires time and patience. That's number two. Don't expect to start making tens of thousands of dollars within your first month as a freelancer. While it's possible, chances are it's not going to happen. Even if you're really good at what you do, you still need a lot of time to get the hang of freelancing procedures like client networking and time management and systems. You may have to go up to 3 months doing freelance jobs before you start making even any meaningful income. Within this period, ensure that your goals are realistic and attainable to avoid getting discouraged. Number three, clients don't last forever. You've got to pitch constantly. I already talked about this before, but you're bound to lose clients occasionally, and this happens to even the most talented freelancer. Your clients won't keep patronizing you forever because every business relationship you have with them has a lifespan. With this in mind, you need to be prepared for when a client begins to drift away or puts an end to the relationship. It might not be your fault. Before a client leaves, though, ensure that there are other ones to cover for them. This is why you constantly need to pitch to prospective clients. If you focus on one client without preparing for the day the client will leave, you might run into financial problems because you'll lose a stream of income when the client finally does leave. And number four, freelancing is stressful. When considering how to start freelancing, you need to take anxiety and stress into account. They're very common among freelancers. Data even shows that 23% of freelancers have more work they can handle. Different things such as bills that are due, the uncertainty of income, or meeting a deadline for work can constantly make a freelancer stressed. To avoid always being stressed, you need to have a good backup plan for your finances. Have savings that can last for months. This will eliminate the anxiety that comes with uncertainty of income. And also, be sure to have places where you can find other people who can take the job that maybe aren't completely necessary to you doing off your plate. Get a virtual assistant. Get somebody to schedule your social media or some of your clients. If you have a team of other freelancers working under you, it'll take the stress off of you. Ensure that you take one day to relax. Don't get carried away by work and overlook your health because you might break down. Number five, quality is key. The number of freelance jobs you can get is dependent on the quality you have to offer. As a freelancer, the quality of your work also determines how much you will be paid. To get more jobs and get higher rates, you need to constantly work on improving the quality of your work. You need to research ways to improve your skills. Embrace new ways of doing things. When you pay attention to the quality you offer, you won't have to spend months before making a reasonable living out of freelancing. Number six, money management is important. About 65% of Americans have little or no savings, and 78% live from paycheck to paycheck. Now, in order to help you with that, I do have a resource, makingitpaytostay.com/save, where you can make little tweaks every single week. They don't take much time, but you can end up saving thousands in 1 year. So go take a look at that. It's totally free to download. That's makingitpaytostay.com/save. But to avoid getting stranded financially and being a part of these statistics I mentioned, especially as a freelancer, take out time to calculate your monthly expenses and how many projects you need to do to get the money needed for the month. You need to prepare for unexpected financial challenges such as delayed payments, hardware malfunction, and unpaid invoices. With a monthly financial plan, you'll be capable of managing your finances adequately. If challenges come up, you'll also be well prepared to handle them. Financial challenges can destabilize your freelancing career, so ensure you have everything under control. Number 7. Underselling will get you bankrupt. In 2019, the annual bankruptcy filings as released by the Administrative Office of the Court in June, so halfway through 2019, totaled 773,361. Gosh, I can't read. If you want your business to avoid being part of the statistic, you need to know how much to charge per project to avoid underselling your skills, which could lead to bankruptcy. You can do a Google search to find out how much freelancers in your field are paid. This will enable you to have an idea of how much to charge. There are a lot of clients out there waiting to take advantage of freelancers who don't know what they're worth. So be sure of your worth before you start doing jobs. You may be charging low rates so you can boost your skills, but when you have established your presence in your niche, you need to begin to charge higher rates. Don't take every offer that clients throw at you. Measure freelance jobs to your time and financial plan. Be ready to stand your ground when clients try to underprice your service. Be confident when bargaining with them. Certain clients can smell a lack of confidence and will take undue advantage of it. Hey, if you want to be a freelancer, you've got to get paid. So how do you send invoices to your clients? Well, I recommend Square. If you sign up for Square through the link makingitpaytostay.com/square, that's SQARE, you'll receive free processing on up to $1,000 in credit card transactions for the first 180 days. So you'll basically save $30, which could come in handy, on all of your processing fees for the first $1,000. After that, you'll pay the standard 2.6% plus 10 cents per swipe for all major credit cards. It's still cheaper than PayPal. So I highly recommend you go to Square. You can check them out again at makingitpaytostay.com/square. And the cool thing about Square is you can easily set up a template. You can have recurring invoices. You can let your clients add their preferred credit card. And it makes it super easy to see if they've viewed the invoice or not, because then they have no excuse if they're not paying on time or if they're delayed, if you can see that they clearly saw the invoice in their email inbox. So again, go to makingitpaytostay.com/square and sign up today to get free processing up to $1,000. That's $30 back in your pocket. And yes, it is cheaper than PayPal. And also, yes, you can invoice foreign currencies as well. In fact, I use Square for my Canadian clients because then I don't have to worry about all of the transaction fees that come with foreign accounts. So go to makingitpaytostay.com/square. That's SQUARE, and I almost forgot how to spell square. But do that, and you'll see $30 that you wouldn't see otherwise if you used another processor. So hopefully these tips and tricks at least gave you a good foundation for getting started. Again, if you go to makingitpay.teachable.com, you can sign up for the Making It Pay Lifestyle course for just $47. I'm also going to be doing another part to this series or topic, I guess I should say, about outreach and marketing tips. I feel like if I went into all of that in this episode, it would just drag on and be too long of a podcast episode. I try to keep these under 45 minutes if possible, and I think that I've covered enough to at least give you a good idea of what you need to do before you take the leap into being a freelancer. So the next part of this series, probably episode 29, this is 28, 29, will be about really how to put yourself out there, where to find clients. I'll dig into all of that a little deeper because that's really important. But again, if you take the Making It Pay Lifestyle course, I go into all of this and more. I even talk about accounting and legal things you need to think about and how to establish your business and how to open a checking account and all of that and keep it separate from your personal finances. And I even talk about how to build a team when your workload gets to be a little too much, because there's no reason for you to not keep growing and keep making more money, but you will eventually need to have people helping you out if you're planning on doing that. So I would love to hear from you. If you have questions about this, please reach out to me, Sherry@makingitpaylifestyle.com, or on Instagram @makingitpaylifestyle. Of course, if you go to makingitpaytostay.com, you're going to find all kinds of articles and resources and all of the previous podcast episodes. And as always, please subscribe to this podcast, rate it, review it, share it with your friends. And if you want to be a guest on this podcast, perhaps you've done freelancing successfully and you want to give some tips or tricks to our listeners, go to makingitpaytostay.com/voicemail and you can leave me your contact information there or apply to be a guest on the show. All right, guys, until next time, this is my side hustle.